Today's dinner is going to be some sushi made from Costco fish. So here we go. Here we have some tuna. This has been shaved off, of course, of many sushi meals, but get a big, large fillet of it over Costco for like 20 bucks. Basically soak it in hot water to get it to defrost faster. And over here we have some old ass Costco salmon. Same thing, a little cheaper, it's about 10 bucks. Make sure it's farm salmon so you don't have any wild parasites, and freeze it for a couple days before you cut it up. Otherwise, you can just take off a couple inches and save the rest in the freezer in this Ziploc bag here. Once you got a cure mix, you want to put the cure on the fish. How to do that is just put it on it. Here, rub that in. Make sure it's on both sides. Cover that in. This brings out the flavor, makes it delicious instead of you just eating basically cat food. It is a lot of sugar, but you know, things that taste good tend to be covered in it. So that's doing that. Now I cured the tuna as well, but normally you don't have to do that. The tuna is pretty good just as it is. The salmon, however, is pretty cheap and not really great sushi fish, so you definitely want to cure that if you want it to taste any good. Usually you need this to sit in the fridge for about an hour to an hour and a half, so just stick it in there and come back later. Other ingredients we'll need: vegetables to go in the sushi, 2 cups of rice. The vegetables, you definitely want avocado and asparagus, add a lot of flavor. Cucumber is more filler and just to add a little bit of crunch. And of course some seaweed, as well as one of these things to roll things up with and a knife to cut the sushi. For the sticky rice, you also need some sort of rice vinegar. If you don't have that, I think apple vinegar will do fine as well, or any other kind of vinegar. White vinegar I think also works, but rice or apple vinegar will also work. But those are some things you'll need prepped for the actual sushi making. Pro tip, wrap your rolling mat in saran wrap. This is something they do at my favorite sushi restaurant, and I didn't realize why until I had to clean one of these things. It's a pain in the ass, and if you have this on there, then you can just take off the saran wrap, throw it away, and then put it back, which is a lot easier than spending 30 minutes cleaning out every piece of rice in between every tiny crack of these things. Yeah, that's about it. So the cured fish will have this little juice here. That's how you basically know that's ready. It should be a lot darker than it was before, which you can see is the case for both pieces. After this, you just rinse it off, because it is going to be gross. Make sure all that sugar has been rinsed off of it. Also, you'll see here, sometimes there'll be a little bit of skin. You want to cut that off before you put it in the sushi. Once the rice is done, you want to remove the heat. Taking the mixture you made earlier, just sort of At this point you have the rice, the seaweed, and the roller, and all of your ingredients. So make sure you also have a knife nearby. This one keeps on getting moved. I like to put it right here because I'm left-handed. But basically at this point, you start rolling the rice. To prepare that, you have to put down some rice like this, which is ideally why you make 2 cups of it, because it makes it so there's a lot. And lay down the bed and just make it nice and flat. Spread it out. Add the ingredients, which is pretty straightforward. Just a few asparagus. Put it sort of like 1/3 in, and that way you can make sure it rolls properly. A couple of slices of avocado. There you go. Then you roll it. Make sure that when you roll it, it's super tight. And as you roll it, you can bend this backwards and continue to make sure it's super tight. Once you've got it all the way up to the line here, you can unroll the top there, flip it over, like so. And then you have a nice thing, and you want to make sure it's nice and tight. It's easier with both hands, but as I can only record with one, that's how we gotta do. Once that's done, unroll the thing. Should have a nice little roll. And from here, you can cut it each slice right there, about that size.